Yeah, I think there's a little buzz missing in this draft, and I think it's kind of two reasons really. One is the finals just ended. Lakers Celtics went 7 games. It wrapped up only a week before the draft starts, and then it's a week from the draft to free agency when all the anticipations for that this year. So the draft just kind of slots in and gets overlooked. If there was maybe a compelling, who's going to go first battle between two guys like there was a couple years ago with, Kevin Durant and Greg Oden. Maybe then there'd be some more attention in the draft. But this year it's pretty apparent. It seems that way that John Wall's going to go number one. And then there's a decent mix of big guys who will go in the top between, say, 3 and 7 probably. But nothing that really stands out enough to get attention away from where it's already focused. Yeah, I think when I watched John Wall, the thing that always came to my attention this year is I couldn't even tell if he was a righty or a lefty. He just seems to be able to do everything, both ways, with such polish, the way he goes to the basket. Obviously, he's got to improve his shooting, but he's young and is, only a freshman. You watch a lot of these guys that didn't come in the league as great shooters, and if you work hard, you eventually get that skill. But for now, I think his quickness, he's got decent strength for his size. I think that'll carry him through his first couple years in the NBA until he gets a reliable shot. Some of the players were throwing out names today. I don't really know what you consider a sleeper anymore. Is it a guy who, maybe goes, low and does better than what he was drafted at? Is it a guy who maybe isn't drafted at all and, should have been? So it's hard to say. I mean, there's so much, attention now, all people doing mock drafts and putting stuff out on Twitter and all these internet sites. It's hard to think there's anyone who hasn't been seen or his name out there anymore. Every name now you're pretty much aware of in the weeks before the draft. So it's hard to really nowadays say. It's much easier in like the NCAA tournament to pick a sleeper team who maybe you don't ever get to see. But the NBA draft now, we've seen all these names for weeks at a time. So it's hard to really pick one anymore.